All right, everyone, what is up? If I sound a little different than normal, thanks to this Blue Yeti. You might hear some thuds if I hit the desk. Sorry about that. I need to get a boom. But yeah, I'm gonna turn on the camera and show y'all because I'm really excited to finally have this. This crap, I forgot I tied this down. Yeah, I finally got the Assassin's Creed Odyssey version of this Blue Yeti. It's amazing. I love it. And I'm so happy to have it. And got a few things planned for future content for y'all. So I really love Mirka Andolfo. She's done some great comics. She's working with DC recently, I think on Punchline. I'll be covering her. Let me take it out of the bag so you can see better. But I'll be doing a review of Unsacred 1 and 2. I got this awesome cover. Unfortunately, I got a light right behind the computer, but yeah, I don't think this is her art, but it's really hot, and she's got good stuff too. And I got this a while ago, but I can't remember the guy's name. I think Aaron Calamari, if I'm not mistaken. He did More Lethal, Comicscape project. I'll be reading this and reviewing it soon. And a children's comic for Comicscape. I got Pillowman and Blanket Boy, and I think he does an homage cover to, I want to say Jim Lee, because that's what it says. It says Davis after Lee and Burnley. Not sure. I'll have to ask him about that. But really excited to do that, and excited to have Orange Chat reviews on here. Let me know if I sound bad or if I sound low. I'll speak up more in terms of volume. Last couple of plugs. Don't think it's needed. Don't think you have to or anything that I'm in the hole or anything. But I want to cover more comics this year. I plan to try to do a video every day, if not more, for 2021. And I'm already starting now at the end of this year. Be more consistent, the coverage of entertainment, comics, etc. And so your contribution, either the Streamlabs or a subscription through Patreon, whatever you can do to support me, it will go back in the channel. It'll go into the Meth Gator coffer, the treasury, whatever, the war chest, making that comic, as well as my own funding from overtime at work. So I appreciate any help y'all do through the year. Whatever you can, I get it. Corona is affecting everyone, so don't feel obliged, but I do appreciate it, and it is going into the channel. Now that those plugs are done, got a guy, Orange Hat Reviews. We'll be talking about his video and his content and whatnot. But yeah, I'm glad to have you. I watched your Wonder Woman review today, and I just really surprised that I think I saw you pop up like a year or so ago, maybe more, maybe less. But it's hard to keep up with everybody in the Menace and just YouTube in general that I follow. But I just want to give you props, man. You have a good poise with your reviews. I don't know if you do bullet points behind the camera or something, or kind of prep, but you got a good delivery. And so I hope I'm able, whatever I can with my phone, to help boost you towards the future and everything. Oh, sorry, I figured you to say something, but yeah, how you doing, man? Oh no, we might have lost him. He did warn me earlier about he could be having some complications through the stream, but we will work through those. Let me see the chat. We got GFan84. What is up? Yeah, see, we had some trouble with Orange Chat. He'll be popping back in. Don't worry. Yeah, what's up, GFan84? Thanks for joining. I'm assuming you're TJ on Twitter. And then we got Immortal Coil, my buddy. What is up? He says, hey, 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 with his classic emojis. And Zillafan84 says, speaking of Odyssey, I just started playing that game. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the stream me and Rookie did. It should be in my playlist, recent live streams. But we talked about Assassin's Creed. We kind of crossed because I'm playing Odyssey right now. I've beaten the main quest, but I'm still like digging into all the deep stuff. And played Origins before. That's what this mic is from. It's from the Origins release, not Odyssey. Sorry about that. And Sorry. But yeah, I just really love, honestly, I love history. And I like how they expanded some stuff that Origins didn't have. But I do miss Origins for the expansiveness of its map and just the majesty of Egypt in the Roman Empire. And it's just been really fun digging into it. How far are you into Odyssey, Godzilla fan? And Moral says, computer's broke, but got you going in the background. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Orange, how you doing?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't know if you heard because you had the issue dropping out, but I was giving you props about your recent Wonder Woman reviews, saying how you got a really good poise, and I was curious if you do bullet points beforehand, or like how you prep, or you just go at it.
I screw up, I just cut the video.
And sorry, you're going in and out a little bit. Yeah, we might still be having complications with Orange Chat. Hopefully it clears up a bit. But you're on chapter 2. Okay, I think there's 9 chapters, GFan84 in Odyssey for the main quest, and then you got a lot of stuff to do still. I've put in about 125 or more hours into that game in the last few weeks. It's kind of weird. I was playing Madden a lot this year, 2018, because I didn't have internet, and that game was still downloaded on my Xbox. And I happened to just check Origins because I deleted it, save space, and luckily all the updates are still there, not having internet. And I played the hell out of that game. And it took me a while to actually get back to playing it, though, to finish the last little bit. But it was great. And so I needed Odyssey. And it's funny, Rookie Critic loves Sword and Sandal stuff, but he was just totally unaware of Odyssey somehow. So he's playing Valhalla. Orange Chat, you're back.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you were saying, because you're going in and out, you're talking about how you do your videos.
Yeah, I'm kind of like Tolkien that way. If I screw up, I will stop the video and just redo it. Sometimes I'll do stuff that, or say stuff that I didn't say in the last one. Sometimes I'll forget to put stuff in, and then I'll just stop and do it again. And it's kind of like how he did The Hobbit, because he screwed up a lot during The Hobbit. Tolkien did. And it drove his publishers mad. Thankfully, I don't have publishers. But yeah, basically, I just give it off the cuff. I honestly wasn't planning on doing a video review for Wonder Woman 84. I did my entire 25 chain link tweet on Twitter, going over my thoughts on it, my raw thoughts as I was watching it, because I got it on HBO Plus. And it's like, there's a lot of people that say that there weren't political current administration tropes in it, shall we say? Excuse me, I'm burping as well. But it's like, really?
While we're waiting for Orange Chat to get back on track, Rookie Critic, wow, thanks, bro. Since $20, he says Assassin's Creed for life, bro. Yeah, I'm newer to Assassin's Creed. I always wanted to play the game, seen the trailers, but never had the system to play. Well, I had a PS2 and then a PS3, but I just never got around to playing Assassin's Creed. I got number 3, and I liked it, but I gave up real easy when I got stumped on like a very minor part in the game. Yeah. I never returned to it. Okay, you're back.
Yep, sorry about that. We also got kind of a blizzard going on outside, so that might also be smacking around the internet signal. But yeah, basically they did go heavy with political tropes, and it's like, why did you call this Wonder Woman in 1984? Honestly. I mean, that was something I honestly should have said in my review, but I didn't. I had or I thought about that after I already had it uploaded. So it's like, well, it's no use going back and doing it again. Things are already uploaded. So yeah. But
Yeah.
honestly, I thought if they hadn't done all those political things, the movie had a lot of potential to be a very good movie. However, Pedro Pascal and Patty Jenkins have some serious problems with one particular person who also is attributed to the color orange. And yeah, they just couldn't get over it, and they had no inclination to not do it. So it's like, that's why your movie suffered. Not to mention the very terrible CGI and overused CGI. When Wonder Woman is swooping in with her golden wings and whatnot, she literally, her wing goes through a guy. And it's like, where's the blood? Where's the gore? Where's the guts? But then again, it is a PG-13. And it's like, well, yeah, still. But I will say this, though. The acting for Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, and Kristen Wiig, in some areas for Kristen Wiig, post-Wish, but pre-transformation into Cheetah, that was her best acting. She actually, I've seen a lot of Kristen Wiig movies, and she's not the best actress. But in this movie, it's like, who are you and what did you do with Kristen Wiig? Because this is some very good acting.
Yeah, I definitely differed a lot in your review for certain aspects. Personally, myself, I get that they were going for Trump derangement and whatnot angle with Pascal's character. That was a headline stuff, but I don't think the movie suffered at all from that, besides maybe the headline of being an aversion for some people. I just read that and go, oh, well, I'm not watching that. But I didn't see it at all. I guess someone said in a comment in my video that if I watch some Netflix hit piece documentaries about Trump from like the 80s, it might make sense. But I've seen a lot of clips from the 80s of Trump, and I don't see at all Pascal's character being Trump. I guess maybe the idea of like using
the hair
people
color,
to
his
escalate.
voice. His voice, he actually did a Trump-esque, his version of a Trump-esque voice. The wall that was up in the freaking Middle East in that movie, that was just like a slap in the face. It really was. It's like, seriously? Really? You guys are going to lay that on there? I mean,
for me, I would say Wig, she did really well, but she, like everyone in this movie, including Wonder Woman, was just underdeveloped. Not even talking about direction and just the failures all across the board, the story and the incoherency of it all. But just it felt lacking. Like even the Pine dynamic for me, there was little spurts here and there, but I was like, this had none of the natural chemistry of the first movie. It was just underwhelming all around. Like I would say this is worse than Suicide Squad for the DC EU. Not because, how do I say it? Because this film had so much high expectations because of the first film's outing, the surprise of Wonder Woman, from her casting, where we're all like, "What? This little girl?" To seeing her on screen in BVS, we're like, "Okay, there's something here," and then seeing her movie, it was like, "Wow, bad third act, but all around well done and a great surprise and a really good movie." And then, just everything was just in the length, So I would say this is worse for DC because there was a spirit and a focus, despite me really hating Suicide Squad. I can say like, okay, that was what the guy wanted to do for the most part. And it did have a lot of chopping up from Warner Brothers, but I don't know, it's kind of apples and oranges, but this one was just like the level that you set with the first film, and then what this is, especially where everyone's at home and watching it at home and having the time to, for me, I got about 30 minutes in and I had to do something, and then I started watching again and I got like 20 minutes in and I'm like, wait, what was the plot? So I rewound back to the 30 minutes to see what did I miss. I'm like, wow, no, this is just really bad. Like, Yeah, Wig. She reminded me of Michelle Pfeiffer from Batman Returns, and bring him back in. I thought she had a good potential, and they just kind of became at best 2-dimensional with her, and yeah, it was just a disservice to all these actors. What we got, and it's very clear that it wasn't just because Corona. This movie was on the shelf for like a year, because like we were expecting a lot. This was supposed to go head to head with Rise of Skywalker, where it's like, wow, DCU with all their public troubles as far as perception, going head to head with Star Wars, the Juggernaut, despite their PR problems with the sequel trilogy. That was a ballsy move by Warner Bros. To set that up originally, and then it was sitting on the shelf for a year, and it's like, okay, something's wrong with this, you know. And clearly we see. And apparently I saw something, I didn't watch it, but apparently Warner Brothers wanted to cut the opening scene, and I don't know if it was the mall or the Themyscira, but yeah, so Warner Bros. Was stuck with Patty Jenkins' complete control of this movie, so it's solely on her. So her to get a Star Wars film, and you think Benioff and Weiss was a bad deal. So I don't know which one to drop. Are you on your phone on one of these?
No, that's weird.
Okay, let me drop this middle one.
Yeah.
Okay, you still with me?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
okay.
weird.
Yeah.
Who is that imposter?
You got your doppelganger. But yeah, it's kind of funny you brought in Tolkien with your how you do videos and stuff. So yeah, I wanted to turn this bit to actually get away from any of the topics I want to address with you and talk about. But tell us a bit about your channel. You know, let's showcase you to whoever might come in and see this replay or come in later. Tell us a bit about your channel.
Well, my channel is basically, it's entertainment based, movie reviews, but I also do some fun stuff on Friday nights. I do movie discussions and versus streams. This Friday night is going to be a versus stream kicking off the new year and the season 2 of my versus streams. The first season of versus streams was pretty good. We did things like John Wick versus The Accountant, which was Ben Affleck character.
Yeah, I love The Accountant.
I do too. It's actually a very good movie. We also did the definitive Goku versus Superman fight. And shout out to Death Battle, but I think we finally outdid them because we pointed out that Goku could win.
Yeah, I'm not deep on DBZ at all. I'm not really a fan of that.
Yeah. Well,
I've seen that argument, though. I've watched the videos.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that go through that. I also did a lot of Star Wars ones. I did I did DC versus Marvel ones, like Joker versus Bullseye, and I believe that Joker actually won that one. I even did Cheetah versus Tigra, another DC versus Marvel. And a lot of people come on to I bring on some bigger channels. I bring on some smaller channels. I have them on for panelists. For the movie discussions, I keep the panel set for whoever it is for discussing the films. This one, or the next movie discussions, we just finished doing the Underworld series. And now we're moving on to Rambo.
Okay.
Which is fitting because the first season or the first episode of season 2 versus streams is Rambo versus Commando. So it's a blast to the past of the 80s icons.
Now, is there more than one Commando movie? I never followed this.
No, there's only the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger, I believe.
Okay, so are you just doing number 1, Rambo versus Commando, or is it the collective of the Rambo series versus Commando?
It's basically John Rambo versus John Matrix from Commando. Basically, it's I'm putting the characters up against each other. Okay. And seeing who would come out on top. And also when I do reviews, I've actually garnered Sorry about that.
No, you're
Very
fine,
loud
man.
idiot outside. Doesn't know how to get a proper exhaust for his vehicle. But yeah, I've actually garnered some interesting followings with some of the reviews I do because are you aware of Lethal Lightning?
Oh, dude, yeah. I got him in multiple chats. I love you, Lethal.
Well, as you know, he interviews some adult film people.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so I'm, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do something that nobody's going to expect me to do on my channel. I'm going to review a porn flick.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I did the Captain Marvel or porn parody review. And I even tagged Axel Braun, Kenzie Taylor, and whatnot. And well, lo and behold, Axel Braun now follows me on Twitter, as does a couple other porn stars.
Nice.
And I'm like, yeah, one porn star in particular that wasn't even part of his production. His name's Tommy Pistol, but I'm aware of that guy as well. I've seen him. Hey, I'm a guy. I do watch adult stuff because, well, I am going to be reviewing some of that stuff as well. But it's like, yeah, I know this guy. He does some interesting things, but I'm mostly focused on the women.
Hey,
But
no shame here, man.
well, when it comes to sexuality and stuff, I'm demi, which is part of the LGBTQ plus. So it's like, a lot of people actually mistake it for either pan or asexual, and it's like, not pansexual at all. I'm not asexual. I have sexual cravings, but you got to have an emotional connection, or there's nothing that's going to happen. That's basically what demisexual is. But anyway, moving on to reviews. I did that review, and it's like, holy crap, I just got a lot more people following me. And ever since, this is no joke, ever since I did that, I have not done a single video on my channel where some sex bot channel on YouTube has commented.
Yeah, I get that sometimes in my console. Check on Studio, and I just reply no.
It's like, me, I erase most of them. It's like, look, I'm glad you caught on to my channel, but given that your profile suggests that you are doing a lot of things that really violate the terms of service, I want nothing to do with your channel. So yeah, I've had hatred there's this person on my in my cuties, one of my cuties videos that I did, that claims to be part of their production, and they're defending it so freaking vigorously. And I'm like, look, my point is, and you can call this a toxic mentality if you want, I don't care, not you, but that person. You don't fight child sexualization by committing child sexualization.
Exactly. Yeah, I seeing those clips, it's like this. If you're like fighting this issue, this is not the way to go. It's like, I don't, if you're like, cause I'm a big Eagles fan, so I have my love for Mike Vick as just a future Hall of Famer and stuff, and he should have got the MVP that year in Philly. But he did his crime and stuff, and PETA or anyone against him or against that act and stuff, it's not going to drown puppies and stuff to show this is wrong. Like, no, you're calling that out, and so it's such
PETA
a
PETA has done some very disgusting things. I mean, did you see their Thanksgiving commercial?
Oh, stuff in a human, and it's like, you totally
a stuffed baby.
Oh, stuff. No, I haven't seen that, but
it was a stuffed baby. Yeah, they did a stuffed human baby, and it's like, and the kid is like looking gross, and then, can I have a leg? It's like, you bunch of filthy cannibals.
Yeah, I do applaud some of the weird, like, vegan extremists devotion. Some of them will like go through these crazy they'll have like conventions or whatever the hell it is of like subjecting themselves like cows being branded, and they'll brand themselves. I don't know what the number 269 means, but I don't know if it's supposed to be like this many cows die a day or whatever. But it's like, well, you're clearly I can applaud that instead of just the like. You see causes like BLM where everyone just like retweet something and they think they're like a champion or something. Like these people actually devote themselves to it. A bit extreme, but at least they're devoted and subjecting their own bodies to make a point. So it's kind of like I think in Vietnam they had like Buddhists burning themselves in protests, stuff like that. Where it's like it's crazy, but I can at least make sense of what the message you're trying to make, even though it's probably the wrong direction. Really quick, a couple of these chats. We got Godzilla Fan 84 saying, I'm still waiting for Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah, that should come out this year, right? Barring more COVID crap from probably Biden, unfortunately. And we got Rookie Critic saying, Ing Chong Bing Bong for $2. I proposed to Rhodes Rants on the Black and White Sports channel. They got a lot of good merch. They got a new one that says La China James, and I'm like, no, you're onto something, but you totally messed up, man. It should be Le Bong James.
Yeah, there you go.
The China, get the China in there. It's clever. Rookie said something. Let me scroll back up. He said, Death Battle made Superman win because they bullet to Superman has no limits, and Goku does. But by that logic, Superman can never lose. Yeah, that's the problem with Superman. That's why I like Man of Steel, is because
he does have limits.
They're aware of kind of the insurmountable odds of Superman for just pretty much anyone combating him. And so they show like that human view of like, if this is real, like how scary would the prospect of a person with this much power be, and the kind of reasonable fear.
And to answer Rookie for a second, he can lose even in his all-star state where he's constantly regenerating even if he's not damaged. Goku has a technique that is literally an instant kill. It will disintegrate every cell instantly in your body. And he learned it from the gods of destruction in Dragon Ball Z or Super. So yeah, he actually mastered that move and actually can use it, and he would use it if he had to. So Goku could beat Superman. But anyway, that's all we'll say on that.
Yeah, I'm not a big Superman fan. They make it work in the Justice League cartoon from the 90s.
I liked Superman growing up, and I liked the Death and Life of Superman book with a few grapes here and there, like Supergirl not being a Kryptonian, but being a creation of a alternate Lex Luthor. But the reason why I liked that one is because I liked Doomsday's character. When they made Doomsday a Kryptonian, that's when I stopped liking Superman. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Zack Snyderverse and release the Snyder Cut, like, please. But when they made Doomsday Kryptonian, they inadvertently God modded Superman so that nothing but anything from Krypton can kill him. And it's like that. No.
Yeah, I don't know the whole history of Superman and like where new specifications came in for his character versus like the origin, but so I think did he fly originally? I think that wasn't part of him, or it was like
he could leap tall buildings in a single bound and whatnot, and then they gave him flight short after, and he was really, really fast and whatnot. So
yeah, but I mean, I can give Superman a pass for his iconicism because he kind of started the superhero genre for American mythos and all that, but he's a juvenile creation with like a new storytelling platform in comics, and to like keep him going so long, I think is probably a big flaw for his character, but it's like you can't really blame him because like everyone wants to buy his merch still, but he's a good symbol for like what a child thinks of superhero or something. But when you get into adult and stuff, that's why something like Batman resonates so well, because it's like he doesn't have powers, you know, he's complete opposite, and that's what makes him compelling, because you can have so many checks and balances to what he is.
He's also more realistic.
Yeah. And so, like, yeah, that's why DC's gone, unfortunately, just full Batman mode. I don't know if Orange Chat will hear this, but for me, what won me over for Superman as a character at all was reading Jeff Loeb comics. I want to say I read Long Halloween, and then I looked into the back of the graphic novel, and there was other recommendations of their work, and one of them was Superman for All Seasons. I actually did a review on my channel of that. I think I uploaded on a different channel because of the copyright. I thought that might have hurt my monetization at the time. And it tells 4 issues from 4 different perspectives of Lex Luthor and Lois Lane. And the first one is his father. And it really got the father element so well, of like how a father will view his kid, even Superman. And so reading that made me a Man of Steel fan. That's what won me over. I suggest everyone read that book. If you're doubting Superman, check out Superman for All Seasons. And before I forget, along with like channel support links, there's a link if you're new here to go sub to Orange Chat Reviews. It's at the top of the description for y'all to sub to them. So don't forget to do that at some point. So Orange Chat, saw your video about the Phantom Menace stuff. What was going on that you were seeing that inspired that? You know, because it seemed kind of vague what you were just talking about, like how you felt about something, but you didn't really give a explanation about like what it was exactly, and that's what was confusing me.
I didn't really want to. The reason why I made it vague was because I didn't want to call anybody out directly. Anybody who saw the video, they would know who they were. But basically, there was a lot of infighting over the Mandalorian. And there were some people that were laying blame on those who were enjoying it. And then there were other people who were saying, well, y'all are a bunch of hypocrites and this and that. These are people that have been friends with each other for a while on here that I have observed. And when friends are turning on each other, my autistic mind, it cringes away from it. Because I am autistic, and it's like, I don't like what I'm seeing. It's making me deeply uncomfortable, and a lot of what you guys are saying feels like you are diminishing my ability to express what I feel, because I respect you guys so much that, I mean, yes, I was always under the core belief that agree to disagree. That was one of the core values that I came to understand about the Fandom Menace. Now, a lot of people have gone to say, or to take my card comment literal, which it's like, when I say pull my card, it's more of a figure of speech. I mean, yes, I do got a Phantom Menace card. It's online and whatnot, but I meant that figuratively. But yes, I have also had some time to think about it as well. And Jesus, man.
You're fine.
No, yeah, I am. It's just that idiot definitely needs to get his freaking muffler fixed. But anyway, basically it's like, look, we're going to have disagreements. We're going to but don't start saying things as if they are facts, because there are some people, not just one person, but other people as well, saying that Kathleen Kennedy might keep her job due to the success of The Mandalorian. And it's like, that is not a definite. Her contract expires at the end of 2021. So a year from now. So it's like, until we hear an official statement from from Lucasfilm, rather, not George Lucas, but Lucasfilm, saying that they're extending her contract, then you can state it as fact. But do not go after people saying that their enjoyment of something led to her getting a contract extension. Is it likely? Sure, it's possible. What isn't possible in this world? But you saying it as a fact or stating it as a fact is what can turn people off, is what can push people. It's like, I'll agree to disagree with you, but I'm also going to give my thoughts on it. And yes, I'm more than willing to let people fire right back at me. Channels I have immense respect for, incredible respect for, ones that have inspired me to get my channel started. They've actually given me a few things to think about. Like, the Fandom Menace isn't really it's a community, yes, but it's basically a loose community that if you do not like how fans have been treated, you are Fandom Menace. And yeah, I can agree with that. But I also see it as a community that is defined as well. There is no leader, where there are people that, because when
No, sorry, you cut out.
Ichibaka shared my thing,
Yeah, you cut out again. Sorry. Hopefully, it comes back in a moment. Rookie Critic, while we're waiting on Orange Chat to get back with us, Rookie Critic says, porn industry to join Fandom Menace, or Fandom Menace join porn industry? I feel you should have a question mark at the end so it sounds like Anchorman. I'm Ron Burgundy? Of course, earlier, Edwin, the Ace South Savannah, says, hell peeps. Thanks for joining, Edwin. Appreciate the support. Ah, damn it. Yeah, we'll come back in a month. There we go. He's back.
Okay, where did I cut out?
You cut out, and then he said something Ichibaka, and then you cut out again.
Yeah, so Ichibaka shared my video, and it blew up. Well, to the standards of my channel, because my channel is still small. And it's like, look, I did not want to sow any more division, or my intention was not to sow division or to create any more infighting, which it inadvertently did. It caused a lot of people to give some backlash. I mean, I believe it's one of the top downvoted videos on my channel, but you know what? That comes with the territory of being a YouTuber. It also has garnered a lot of likes. My intention was not to, it was not a clickbait video, as a couple of other people have claimed. My videos, I am not doing them to clickbait or to bullshit or to get attention. My videos are to inform and give my thoughts on what I am informing people about. And yes, they were raw thoughts, they were raw feelings. And when I come from a broken family, that's one of the reasons why I did the damn video. And it's because of those kind of feelings and those kind of memories and traumas that causes me to rebel, get a little bit more outspoken when these things are happening. It's like, stop freaking fighting with each other. Jesus, you are friends. You guys, I mean, if you're not, or if you're just having a small disagreement, fine. But there's things that my mind cannot process very well because of my autism. And humor, sarcasm, I can understand it to a degree, but there's some times where I will not understand it. And that is, and I've pointed that out on Twitter several times. It's like, when they're like, yeah, this was meant as a joke, dude. It's like, sorry about that. Please forgive my autism. So
Hey, I
it's
can I
like,
can empathize with that because I love joking with people, but then when it comes back at me, because I'm kind of more serious oriented, so like a lot of
mhm.
humor and sarcasm, just especially if it's typed, I don't perceive that well. I take it literally. I'm like, wait, what the hell? And
Mhm.
so I can
and
totally relate
then
to that.
and then I try joking, and it comes off great with other people. But when I try joking with my family members look at me like, "Are you nuts?" I'm like, that's why I don't like joking and visiting with family, unless they had a recent addition to the family, which I did just recently have. I have a new niece. But yeah, so it does, or my autism is not, I don't ever say it is a crutch. I will, however, say that it has helped me on my journey of being a YouTuber, because if I hadn't become a YouTuber, I would not have met as many of people as I have met. I would not have been able to talk with as many of people as I have talked to. I would not be as comfortable as I am where I am right now with my mental development. Um, there's a lot of things, I mean, that I have traumas of and from. And if you all want to know what I mean by that, there is a video that I have. It's called Time for a Serious Discussion. It will explain a lot of why I can sometimes be very closed off and whatnot, because sometimes I do get closed off. And it also will give an explanation of how this is, or without really saying it, why this kind of community, this YouTube community, is so important to me, because it literally helped me out of a depression that I was having a hard time getting out of by myself. So, as for the Fandom Menace, I respect a lot of people that identify as Fandom Menace. I respect them greatly. And sure, there may be a time where I will say, you know what, I'm proud to be a part of that community again. There may not come a part of it. But, and yes, a friend of mine was right. It's, if you care, or if you care about how fans are treated, you are a fan of Menace. It's like, sure, but I won't really associate with the hashtag, so to speak, because a lot of people say it's just a hashtag. And you know what? That's fine too. But there's a lot of people that also kind of distance themselves with that hashtag because it has been abused. And there are some elements that can be real assholes and bitches. You see, I'm all about gender equality. So,
all two genders.
yep. And a lot of people are like, well, you really, there's a time and place for everything. And it's like, yeah, I get the whole time and place argument. Believe me, I do. But you're telling a person that does not, or, well, it's not that I don't care. It's just that I am unable is kind of a harsh way of saying it. But for lack of a better term, I'm unable to understand how to care, if that makes sense. My mind just, there's ways that I can be very emotional, but there's also ways that I can be extremely cold. And a lot of people are like, you got to find a middle ground. It's like, try saying that to an autistic. Oh, wait, I am autistic. You just did. We don't have middle grounds. And if we do, they're very shaky middle grounds. So when a person says, try to find that middle ground or balance it out, it's like, try flipping a coin and having it land on its side every time. You're not going to do that. Unless it's a weighted coin directly in one spot.
Yeah, it's funny. Me and Ricky were talking today about Menace and stuff and like backtracking. It's like, yeah, the Phantom Menace, if there's like a core tenet, at least originally, it was spawned because we all hate The Last Jedi. And after that, like, because that's how I got into it. Like, my origin was bullshitters, and that's also with comics gigs. That's how I found like EVS and everything following. So they're really epicenter of both fandoms. And yeah, it was Last Jedi spoilers. I happened to see their video first when I kept looking for it, because I love spoilers going into a movie that I'm like really hyped about, because it helps me for reviews be able to look deeper, having known the plot a bit. So now I'm looking at execution, the score, unexpected delivery or something, like how they do a twist, whatever. And so like all like 20 points they had were completely true. Seeing the movie, like, what the hell? And I saw it 2 days in a row. I saw it opening night, and then the next morning I saw it. I bought tickets. I'm a big Eagles fan, and I knew they were going to release the last trailer on Monday Night Football, Giants Eagles, and they opened the tickets that night, like October 30th that year. So 2 days in a row I bought tickets, and oh my god, I was like, what the? And I'm not an original trilogy fanboy. My fandom is prequels, and I've only grown into the originals because of that fandom of like the saga. And I was still flabbergasted, and I wasn't even looking at like the deep stuff about like, oh, Luke and this and that. It was just like, what? This is not good Star Wars. This is awful. Like, the biggest thing no one really addresses, I've never really seen in reviews, is like Holdo is filmed like she's a mole for Snoke, and it turns out, oh no, she's actually a good guy. She just sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found, Menace through the bullshitters before there's ever like a collective. But yeah, it was all spawned, from Last Jedi hate. And then the treatment of fans hating the film, the isms, phobes, Nazis, whatever, that is what opened the Menace wider to a wider view outside of hating Last Jedi. It was like treatment of fans and how you keep Star Wars pure and whatnot for fandom. Yeah. I think it grew, like their hate and their spite against us and the shielding for Disney from the mainstream. That's what grew the Menace beyond just a Last Jedi hate fan club or anti-fan club. Because there's people that like it or can defend it. Like, I can defend Last Jedi at certain points. Like, well, this is interesting. But yeah, so like it is bigger than just hating Last Jedi, but that really is the core of it, is that, and then how Lucasfilm treats stuff.
Yeah, that's how it started. I mean, it's become something greater since, because it's more than just Star Wars now. It's also Doctor Who and Star Trek and many other things. But it did originally start with The Last Jedi, and I'm old enough to remember, which was 2 years ago, Rian Johnson told people to suck him off on Twitter when they asked him simply about the damn knife disappearing in the throne room scene, where that one Praetorian guard has two knives, but suddenly it literally
vanishes.
Yeah, vanishes right on screen. And it's like, what? People honestly asked him, why didn't you have an alternate take about, or with Holdo, where she didn't go shoom with her damn mouth? That's a mistake in the movie that or in a Star Wars movie that should never exist. You don't make that kind of mistake in a Star Wars movie. You don't make, these are movies that you got to go, that you do many takes to make sure that you have something that is cohesive, something that works, something that is chemistry and balanced. You don't have a character that can't shut her fucking mouth and go shoom, making a noise of something when it's going to be done in post. It's like, we have technology where we can stop a person's lips from moving, or make a person who blinks a little too much not blink. You're telling me you couldn't put a little bit more money into it to keep her from doing that? And
Yeah, I
there's
never noticed that issue, but we all notice the way bigger issues of that film.
Oh, hell yeah. There's also the lore breaks of the freaking Holdo maneuver. There's also the political bullshit that they put into the movie where capitalism is evil. It's like, oh, fuck you. They also.
That was the dumbest thing because they were on track at the time. Of course, it became complete later, but they were on track to buy Fox for eventually $70 billion.
They put themselves in debt doing it.
And it's like, on top of buying the Avengers, the Marvel catalog, the large Marvel catalog at the time, and Lucasfilm, and you're going to talk about capitalism is bad. And it's like, you wouldn't make this film without capitalism. I mean, you could. There's a movie like Nightcrawler. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Nope.
Dude, it's a great film. This might perturb you at first, but I think some people, especially in the Menace, we kind of get overboard with like woke watchdog. You're like, oh, this is woke, or it's going to tell us anti-capitalist or whatever. You don't think about like what is art, Nightcrawler. If you boil it down, the subtext, it is a cautionary tale about what capitalism does to man and how it makes us eat each other. And it's not a cannibalist film necessarily, but you could say there's like cannibalistic like tendencies by the main character. It's a very like villainous movie, but it's so well done, and I don't think you can argue against like capitalism without checks, without guarding against extremes can lead people on this path of eating each other business wise to like get ahead. But no one ever made videos about like this is SJW crap, blah blah blah, because it's like you can't deny the potential of capitalism unrestrained. No monopoly rules and stuff. Like no one's no Republican, unless they're out for money and trying to like shiv the competition. No one in America is completely against or is completely for just unrestrained capitalism. And this movie is like a kind of extreme portrayal of what it can do. So like political messaging is fine to me. If you do it well, if you have like some restraint from like your extremist view, arguably. My perfect example is Dark Knight. It is
my opinion is keep it subtle.
Yeah. Okay, this is the thing. All right, George Lucas is an SJW. He did, I'm not sure how old it is, but I'd say within the last 10 years, he did like this YouTube series with James Cameron, or at least there's clips on YouTube of it. And Cameron, kind of knowing already, haven't talked to the guy, but he's like, yeah, when you wrote Star Wars, like you were, the Vietnam War was in your head and stuff. Were the rebels, were they like an allegory for the Viet Cong? And he's like, yeah. So the Empire is like not just a Nazi allegory, obviously it's symbolism, but it is an allegory for like the idea of imperialist America in our like world policing and whatnot. But no one looks at it that way, because you can put the rebel empire dichotomy on cowboys and Indians, or colonists and Indians, or the colonists versus the British Empire, and so on and so forth, with so many examples in history. It's so vague that it's not projecting like, oh, this idea is evil or bad or whatever. It's vague. So yeah, subtlety is a storyteller's best friend when it comes to political messaging.
Yeah. And The Last Jedi, they took that subtlety and threw it out the window because Rian Johnson wanted to subvert your expectations. Great Hitler scene, by the way, Rian Johnson. I mean,
wait, what are you talking
about? In The Last Jedi, or no, wait, it wasn't The Last Jedi. That was actually Force Awakens. Whoops. The one with where Hux is given his monumental speech about.
Okay, yeah, Force Awakens. Yeah, okay, I remember Starkiller base scene. Yeah,
yeah, that was J.J. Abrams. Mea culpa, and I hate having to say that to Rian Johnson. But yeah, I actually was being one of those people that was asking him about certain things and whatnot. And then he just says, well, you know what you guys can do? You could criticize my dick. And it's like,
it's probably small.
it's like, well, yeah, okay, I'll criticize your dick. Where is it? You probably need a Hubble telescope just to find it. You see, folks, that's actually another lovely line that I put in my videos. You see, folks, Ryan Johnson, by saying that, you can criticize it. It's like, no, it's what he's not, or it's what that is saying over, or he's saying that over what he means. What he means is, you know what, suck my dick, I could care less what you think. That is what he was saying. So, yeah, he may not have said literally, suck my dick. He was basic, but that was his intention. And because there have been people that have come at me saying, he never, show me the tweet where he says, suck my dick or whatever. It's like, why don't you do a little, there's a search queue on Twitter. Use it. And they're like, no, you're the one that said it. So it's like, yeah, and you're an adult. You have fingers. Type.
Yeah, well, okay. Being a devil's advocate a bit, I can give Ryan Johnson some credence for, not initially with like critiques of the movie and stuff, because he was on like, there's this one clip on an interview with Mark Hamill. I can't remember what channel, but he was saying like, oh, like, do you think your movie warrants criticism, or, you know, something to that effect? And he's like, no. And it's just like, what? Like, every film deserves criticism. Empire Strikes Back has errors, you know, film wise, very minute, and you can give them a pass because of how amazing the execution is. But no movie's perfect. And to make a movie off of a first draft, 90% of it is from the first draft. There's very little change from Lucasfilm or the story group to that story. And there wasn't really any editing by Johnson, so it deserves a lot of criticism, despite it just as a movie by itself, you know. But it's not a movie by itself because it's in a saga. It's the middle of a trilogy of a 9-part story that really fits into a huge, bigger universe that's ever expanding. But to be devil's advocate for him, I never saw us verified, but I could assume there's some crazies that have done this. He supposedly got death threats because of the movie. So,
oh, no doubt. I mean,
so like from what, I'm not sure what time this was when he said this. So to be an advocate for him to a degree, he might just be fucked at the time when he said it. He's probably just tired of like, God damn, I'm getting death threats because of this movie. You know, like, it's just a movie. Like, come on, you know, like, fuck you. You know, it's hard to restrain. I think for the most part, he said man babies, and
there was that one, yes.
I would say it's just to be critical, but there's also like the human, despite his position and how he should kind of restrain, there is that position of like just being a guy getting railed with criticism. At some point, he just gets fucking angry, you know, and it hits back and it's like, that's a tweet, you know, whatever.
Well, that's the thing. And this is actually was on Drunk 3PO's channel tonight with Star Wars Theory and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. You work for Lucasfilm, or worked for Lucasfilm. You are working for a company that has an IP that is very well respected and loved. However, you also got to be aware that you are going to have to take the criticism. You can't just fly off the handle, because that makes not just you look bad, but the rest of the company look bad. So by him doing that, calling people man babies, yes, I can understand he probably was under a lot of stress. But when he says stuff like, I never really cared about Star Wars anyway, and I never saw Return or Empire Strikes Back, and this and that, it's like, how was he, who vetted him?
Yeah, that was what was crazy, because like on top of the amazing trailer for Last Jedi and the hype because of Force Awakens, wanting to see like the questions start unfolding to answers and stuff. Before the movie's even released, it's announced he gets a trilogy. So I'm just like, oh my God, this has to be amazing. If like he hasn't even had the film vetted by the public. This is before kind of really getting aware of like everyday nerd news and stuff with film for whatever franchise. But it's like this guy gets a Star Wars trilogy after doing one film that hasn't been released yet. Like, oh my God, this must be groundbreaking. And yeah, it definitely was groundbreaking. It's the epitome of, like, wow, what one thing can do to a franchise. But yeah, I was so excited going into Last Jedi because of that, just that awareness of a trilogy coming later from this guy. And we're going on 4 years now, the end of this 2021. We haven't heard anything about his trilogy. He's been around Mandalorian, but you don't know to what extent.
I hope he doesn't even, or they put him in the Mandalorian or give him any sort of credit in the Mandalorian. I'm going to seriously question Jon Favreau's way of thinking, because Jon Favreau is on the record saying, I did not like how Rian Johnson did The Last Jedi. Not even Jon Favreau liked The Last Jedi. Daisy Ridley, Mark Hamill, John Boyega, even Kelly Marie Tran did not like The Last Jedi. I mean, these people all, or when you have your own damn employees saying, I don't like this because, and this is kind of weird, but I'll go with it because I want to earn a paycheck. We've all seen those interviews with Mark Hamill. He was pleading with Rian Johnson, and Rian Johnson said, look, I'm the director. You're going to do as I tell you. And it's like, bitch, good luck getting, or I would have said, oh, really? Good luck getting a recast.
Okay, that's funny. Okay, so I'm not sure how much you know about my channel or how much you've watched, but about a year or so ago, I made a controversial video for my channel where I got a lot of hate. And it's funny where we are now, like about a year later with Mark Hamill and Trump and everything. Totally changed the perception of him with Star Wars fans in our own community. But I've heard said he's a hack, that like not discrediting like what he's done with Joker or with Luke Skywalker and stuff, but pretty much said like Luke Skywalker is all he is as far as an actual actor. He's done little cameos here and there. He was in Jay and Silent Bob doing, a Vader-esque parody character. But all he's got on screen that anyone cares about is Luke Skywalker. Basically. And so he does these like mocking tweets and shit, even before like the Trump derangement really started to show. And I was saying like, this dude's a hack. He likes to antagonize people because like he likes to be in the spotlight. He likes to use Star Wars and where he's at, despite clearly hating what happened with that movie. That's all he's got. And so he plays off of that. And I was saying like The Last Jedi is Hamill's fault to a degree. And I gave the analogy, like, I don't know if it was exactly this, but imagine, I don't know if you watch football. Do you watch football, like NFL?
I used to back in the 90s.
Okay. I'm trying to think of. Okay, think of like Dan Marino. Okay, that's a good character. Good analogy for what I'm thinking of more modern. Okay, so like Tom Brady or back in the 90s, Marino. That's the only hope for that team to progress and build. Of course, you can try to draft someone and rebuild and all this, but that's your guy who's gotten you your success. If you take him out, where are you? All right, Tom Brady. If you take him out of the Patriots when they had him. If he threatened, holdout or something, you got the fans that are like, no, do not let him go. He is our boy. Barring a ridiculous request, they're going to bend to Tom Brady's will. Mm-hmm. All right. Now think of Star Wars. The whole saga really boils down to Luke Skywalker. He's the epicenter of everything. And you just had a movie where the whole gist was we need our new characters to get Luke Skywalker to turn the tide in this new galactic civil war. And you cliffhangered the audience where it's like, you're going to get fulfillment of this character in the next movie coming in 2 years. And well, let's see, 2015. So yeah, 2 years. And so my idea is that he could have held that franchise by the balls to get rid of Rian Johnson, to make him rewrite it to fit the character, or at least do the same thing you did in Last Jedi, but have actual breadcrumbs that make it logical to get to that point.
Yeah.
I could totally take the Kylo turn, and here's how I view Luke Skywalker's turn, right? It is the hero's dilemma. It's Batman and Punisher, or Daredevil and Punisher. The dichotomy of one hero who thinks, I cannot mete out the ultimate justice to any villain because it's not my place. I can bring them to the courtroom or to justice. I can lock them up or whatever, confine them, but I can't mete out death in recompense for their sins. Versus Punisher is the Grim Reaper of justice in comics. You know, there's no question. You do bad, you're going to die. All right. And you look at Batman as like kind of this third aspect of like, that's a big problem of his character, is like, I have this moral ground that makes me better than the villain, especially Joker. But you have the contrast of like, well, you never mete out the ultimate justice to Joker. And so how many people's lives are on your hands because you won't just kill this guy and end it? And that's kind of what Luke Skywalker stuck with Kylo. He's had this experience growing up in the Empire and then being a big component of fighting it and ending it, with his father being the number 2 guy who's reigned tyranny for over 20 years and how many trillions dead. And he sees that spawning in Kylo, his nephew. So he's got this family member. He's like, oh my God, like this is going to happen again if I don't stop it. And so like that makes sense that he could have that moment of like, I need to kill him to save the galaxy.
Yeah.
And if you just built that up in the story, give some like prequel scenes to get in that character's head of why he would do that, that would totally make sense. So Luke, you know, you could have kept the same story for the most part, Last Jedi, and it makes sense if you just built it up more. But clearly Hamill hated everything about it. And so he could have held that production without disclosing anything to the public, without breaking any NDAs for Lucasfilm. He could have just held out like an NFL player and bent Lucasfilm to his will. Either get rid of Rian Johnson or make him rewrite this to fit what I want, that I want to execute. The only thing he actually fought for, despite his, you know, arguing with Rian Johnson, was his holdout moment was getting a scene with C-3PO. That was all he actually fought for. And so he's
because Ryan told them to ignore C-3PO, and he's like, no, I'm sorry, Ryan, I'm not doing that. I'm going to react to a character that I have been friends with for years. Yeah,
so my view is like Mark Hamill is a big part to blame for The Last Jedi. And no one would want to give him that at the time when I made this video. No one wanted to give him the blame because that's like the golden boy. You can't question Mark Hamill. He's a saint. And after like
the thing is, you're right. You are absolutely right in this, in that assessment. And despite your backlash, everybody gets backlash. I would have said the same damn thing if I had my platform at the time.
No, people were really pissed at it, but it's like now look at everyone. Now it's like, fuck,
it's like
Mark doing more crap, you know.
You should have freaking. It's like they're not going to fire you. They could possibly sue
recast Mark Hamill like he's the epicenter of Last Jedi. Of, you know, like that's the story where we've been told we're going to see. You can't just rewrite that story and deep fake them for 5 minutes like Tarkin or something and tell a whole new story without passing the torch in any way without him. You got to have him. That was my whole point. And so yeah, he's a big part to blame. I'd say he's at least a third to blame for Last Jedi. Rian Johnson, I don't even blame him because they let him, Lucasfilm and Disney let him tell this story. And so you got Kathleen Kennedy and Hamill.
They didn't vet him. Lucasfilm should have vetted his ass. It's like, have you seen all the Star Wars movies? Yes. What'd you think of them? Which one? All of them. Which one again? That would have been Rian Johnson. And it's like, thank you, but we're looking for somebody who actually gives a shit.
Yeah, he didn't understand Star Wars because
he didn't. He
Like
proved
when,
that recently. I did a video on that too.
yeah, he's with the what was it with Vader versus Anakin? Why he didn't have Ghost
Or
Anakin?
Luke and Anakin, or Luke and Vader's relationship.
Yeah, he's like
It's
his
like
relationship
he had a
with
relationship
Vader.
with Darth Vader, not Anakin. It's like, you wanna say what, mate?
Yeah, and it's like Return of the Jedi. The last time we saw Luke, he kills Vader. Oh, well, he defeats him and then he dies and burns his body. Who's there? You got the original Anakin Vader actor with the helmet off as Force Ghost. And in the special edition, you got Hayden Christensen as the Force Ghost. Like, clearly, he's there from the start. It's not like his story didn't end with Vader. It ended with Anakin, or it continues with Anakin. Made no sense. But my thing was like, especially being a prequel fan, is Lucas is telling, kind of this like Templar story with the Jedi where they get too deeply invested and intertwined with politics outside of what their realm is with religion. And it's their undoing. They lose sight of what they're really there for. It's like we're peacekeepers, are not generals, and but who was the generals in the Clone Wars? The Jedi. So the idea of their hubris is what ended them is not completely wrong, but what undid them was not sticking to their main dogma. Like Anakin comes forward to the council, and they're like, nope, he's not worth training. He's got attachment and whatnot. And then Qui-Gon's like, no, I think he's fine. And they're like, okay, that was their undoing. If they just stuck to their dogma, they would have never went through the Vader crap, in the Fall of the Jedi. So he sort of got it right. But he totally just didn't understand what Lucas wrote for him and for him to carry on. And so and then you get the Vader comment recently. The dude does not understand Star Wars. Like someone just watched the movies a couple times can tell you, like, if they care about it, like they can tell you why this can work, this can't, and this guy does not get it. And so that's what's so frustrating about Last Jedi is just like the sheer lack of care about the saga, because he's like, I don't really care about big universe stories. I just want to tell my story. And it's like, but your story is in a saga. It's not Looper where you can tell whatever you want. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating that Last Jedi has to keep coming up in our conversations. Like Rookie, we started when we built the Fandom Collective stuff. We started our network and everything. And it's like every stream somehow we get into Last Jedi, and he's like, I don't care. I'm fucking tired. It's just Last Jedi. I just want to move on.
Yeah,
and it's like we can't get away from it, Yeah, okay, so you're talking about Star Wars theory. I did a video. I don't know if you saw it, but I'm pretty contrary with everyone about this. I think I kind of, to a degree, I defend Pablo. It's like, this is clearly a joke. I think what happens, he saw this thread, he made a joke with his humor. He realized all the backlash or conflict from it, and so he's like, let me just delete this because they don't get what I'm joking about. And then like he's getting crap from Star Wars theory, and so then he's like, all right, you're just gonna keep pestering me. Now I'm gonna troll you even harder with this banner of my comment. And
no, actually he reached out, or from what I understand of this whole thing, Star Wars theory only reached out once to him. It's like, is this a joke or what's going on, dude? And then Pablo deletes the tweet and then puts it up as a banner 6 hours after Theory asked him what was going on. And then he got blocked. Pablo blocked him. And then he waited 6 hours. So, yeah, while a lot of people do say that Pablo was joking, maybe he was. To play devil's advocate, as you do, maybe he was. But the thing is, when you put it up as a banner, that is not just a troll. That is saying, you know what, screw you. And the thing is, Pablo Hidalgo has a history of doing this sort of stuff. He has a history of disrespecting fans.
No, I agree. I think that's why he'll never get the benefit of the doubt. How I see it is like, this was a joke, and then he's being bothered, and so he's like, you know what, fuck you. I'm just gonna, he can't let it go. after I delete it, so I'm gonna make it my banner. So that's how I see this series of events. And and I saw Theory uploaded part of a stream with Den of Nerds because they do their duo. That like, okay, give him 6 hours and this and that, and then I make my video, and now he's trying to apologize, and it's like, well, like it seemed like he just was going to drop it, and then he's got this. But here's the thing: this is another reason why I think Star Wars Theory is being a pussy about this, is because being the biggest Star Wars channel there is, besides maybe actually Star Wars, he has to see in the comments the variety of views, the SJW views about the sequel trilogy, and the hate he might get for not pandering to that enough, or clearly showing some degree of hate for that. He's being more and more upfront about it finally. But like, he had to have seen Pedro Pascal tweeting or Instagram that went around and got deleted of comparing Trumpers to Nazis and Klansmen.
Yeah. Well,
and he says nothing. It's when it happens to him he cries about it, and it's not even a big deal. It's a
he explained earlier in the stream with Drunk 3PO.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch that replay to get more context.
When he gets on to Twitter, he gets on, does a couple posts, gets right off. He doesn't go and check the things, or according to him, his own words. So yeah, there's things that he has missed. There's things he's not aware of. There's things that he didn't see because, well, he doesn't stay on enough to check it out. Now, yes, I actually like Star Wars Theory for the most part. I don't agree with him on everything, sure. And I think his channel is great, but I didn't make a video based on anything. It's like all the other huge channels are doing their stuff on it. I mean, sure, I could do it, but honestly, I'm a small channel. Nobody gives a shit. Most of my views are less than 100 views.
Hey, I disagree with that. I'll tell you this. Jeremy's a great example of this, right? He just kept plugging away until he found something that worked. It took him a couple years. He even put money, large sums of money. I don't know how much, but he talked about he would like essentially raffle off Xboxes or PS4s or whatever, to try to get views and following on his channel. He tried all sorts of stuff, and then it was just like being candid is what got him there eventually. And so don't ever think, oh, I'm just a little guy, who cares? Robert Storms, he already has a following, but he had a big boost recently when he had a rant about Parasite getting best Oscar, not just best foreign film, but Oscar, because he's like, what? You already have foreign film, why are you giving it an Oscar? Is boiling it down what he said. But he had this big rant, and so he got a lot of traction from that, and then he got more traction from actually reviewing the film after he saw it, and kind of in a way retracted what he said, having better context and seeing it. He already had an established fan base following, but you never know. You never know what will make you drop off or people not care, and you never know what will be that snap boost to you. So don't discredit yourself. Don't sell yourself short because you're a small channel, because you never know when you'll blow up.
True. And that is one of the things that I actually do struggle with, because it's like I had a goal, which was to get to 2,000 watch hours. I'm at 1721 right now. And it was to be before the end of the year. And everybody who gets above 1,000 subs is like, I just need my watch time now. And everybody is willing to boost their watch time, or these people, everybody's willing to step up and freaking put their damn playlists on repeat and whatnot. I did it to support those channels too. I actually, it's like, I reached my end of the year goal sub-wise. I only cared to get like 600 subs by the end of the year. And I'm at 620, 621, one of those. And it's like, now folks, or if you can, just put my playlists on silent through the night if you have to. Just try to help me get my boost or my time up. 1 or 2 or 3 people, and I am very happy for those who actually did make the attempt, did it. But it's like, come on now, really? Or people say that they support one another, I'm kind of getting a bit of a hollow echo when that when certain people say that. If you guys want some people to support you, you might want to think about supporting them as well. Or as a lot of them always say, we're in this together, we rise together. Prove it. Fucking step up and prove it. Support one another like you actually say you will, or don't. And you then risk looking like a hypocrite. Now, I'm not saying that by any means. I am not saying that people have to watch my freaking content. It is completely up to them. If they want to support it by subbing to my channel and not watching shit, I would rather they not sub to my channel at all, because that's harming the algorithm. If you sub and don't watch the damn channel or the videos, then what good is the sub? It's an empty sub, and they'll end up unsubbing you from my channel. I've had subs drop in huge chunks because of that. Mostly because a lot of the subs that I received one time during a boost was a bunch of parody accounts. Like Blue Hat Reviews. I mean, I actually got a parody account, Blue Hat Reviews, and other people's parody accounts to sub to my channel. And then, lo and behold, those are all falling off like nothing because they're not going to those channels and watching the damn videos. Still there?
Yeah, no, I'm listening.
Oh, yeah, okay, because I thought it went dark, or I thought it went completely silent for a second, and it's like, oh crap.
No, I'm trying to be like overly quiet, moving and stuff, because the mic picks up stuff still.
Well, actually, that helps me. That helps me know that I'm still on, you know. And then then there's people that actually sub to my channel, watch my content, and I'm very happy. I am very humbled by that support, because they are the ones that keep me going. They are the ones that make it so I know that there's a reason to continue doing what I do. And I am always going to be happy and very thankful and very humbled by them. That's the thing that I always say on my outro. Stay humble. Because I have noticed there have been channels that have had, when they were very small, they used to interact with the smaller channels greatly, a lot, carrying on conversations, and even in private chat and whatnot. Then they get a meteoric rise. I'm not going to name anyone through or specifically. Then they shoot up like a meteor. And it's like, fuck all those little guys, I'm with the big boys now. And it's like, that's not humble. That's not right. That is you using people to boost your own damn self-image, and then because you're with all those big people, if anybody dare say anything about you, well, then they're gonna look like assholes. And
yeah, I've seen that a lot through the years being on YouTube.
and I'll give you the name, or one specific name, after we're done, but it really pissed me off. It's like, do not treat people like that, especially when they are the foundation of your channel, when they are the ones that were the earliest and the most loyal subs to your channel. You now no longer acknowledging them. I acknowledge as many people as I can when I do a live stream. I make an effort to. I make an effort. Hold on 1 second. I got to mute. I make an effort to thank every single person for tuning in and calling and reading out their names to let them know, yes, I saw you in the chat. Yes, I am very happy that you guys were in the chat giving your feedback, giving your input and whatnot. that to me is the mark of a real good YouTuber. Somebody who cares enough to engage with the people who were their first and strong foundation. And yes, I've had bigger channels on my channel. And the thing is, hey, if that person ever does, or if certain people ever do want to come onto my channel, people that I have, or the people that I'm referring to, but without naming them, and if I am actually wrong about my assessment, I will be the first one to say, hey, mea culpa, I was wrong. And yes, I will even do a freaking video to apologize for it. Strictly to do that. Because that's the kind of person I am. I've done retraction videos. I've done videos that are like, yep, update, I was actually in error and I should have paid a closer attention. So yeah, I disregard my last video. Of course, then I did a retraction video where the retraction was actually in error itself. And it's like, no, you were pretty right when you actually did your first video. It's like, well, damn. So it's like, well, shit. Shouldn't have done the retraction. But I kept that one up anyway. It was the Animaniac one, slamming Johnny Depp.
Oh, what'd you slam him for?
No, I didn't slam Johnny Depp. It was the Animaniacs that were slamming Johnny Depp. With the whole...
the cartoon?
Yeah, their rebooted cartoon on Hulu. They took a couple shots at Johnny Depp, and everybody's like, no, this was done in the 2018. It's like, Johnny Depp's case started in 2016. You're honestly telling me that they wouldn't be taking slams at him or in 2018? Nice try.
Yeah, no, that sounds weird because Animaniacs is Warner Brothers, and he's been with them, what?
With them, yeah.
I'm trying to think how far back.
Johnny Depp's been with pretty much every major production studio company out there. He's been with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. He's been with
Disney for
Disney.
Pirates.
He's been with Warner Brothers, with the ones that did, what are they called? The ones that did freaking Lord of the Rings.
Oh, that's new. That's what. They're owned by.
Yeah,
Brothers,
but anyway, that one. Then there was the one, or he's
New Line Cinema. That's what it is.
Yeah, that one, New Line Cinema. I knew there was a cinema or something in there. Or he's been with all of them, and I'm like, geez, dude, why don't you just do porn? That way you can have a well-rounded freaking thing.
Well, the thing, so I was trying to figure out the timeline for Depp with Harry Potter, which is Warner Brothers. So I'm trying to remember when Fantastic Beasts. 4 years. Yeah, so like for them to do Animaniacs, like, well, your company has probably deep knowledge about stuff, so like that's poor taste regardless if he's guilty or not. Which I don't know. I feel I haven't dug deep into it, but the fact that UK threw out his case.
I've been paying enough attention to know that Amber Heard is indeed the abuser in this case because she has blatantly admitted to it. There's audio of her admitting that she beat on him and that nobody would believe him because she could easily make him look guilty. That all that stuff has literally come out of her mouth on videotapes Johnny Depp himself has released. And it's like, well, this woman also can't seem to keep her sphincter muscle tightened up at all because she also took a dump in his bed. I mean, I would have literally said, you need a diaper. And go to the sex shop. They do that sort of kinky shit. Me, don't ever freaking piss in my sheet or shit in my sheets again. I mean, yeah. Amber Heard, a lot of people don't realize this. Yes, Amber Heard is going to be in the Snyder Cut, and I'm all for the Snyder Cut, but I'm not seeing the Snyder Cut because of Amber Heard being in it. I could give two shits about Amber Heard. That woman is indeed toxic. If she is going to be in a DC movie, she should have been Poison Ivy. But
I thought she was good as Mara.
She was good as Mara she was good as Mara. I will admit that. But ever since the stuff came out, I have, or it's, I can't unsee what I have seen of her, you know? And I like Aquaman. I like that movie. I have a freaking Aquaman trident up in my room right now. I can't bring it on camera because my Kindle does not allow me to, and my Kindle is the most stable thing that I have here.
Okay.
But I actually brought it out on one of my Versus streams, or was it a discussion stream? Where, yeah, it was a discussion stream, and it's like, Lethal, watch this. I'm doing this for you. And I showed the whole damn thing off, and true, it wasn't as good, but then I took pictures because Lethal didn't get to watch it, and you know what? That's okay. But yeah, it's like, got this bad boy, and it's like $59, so it's like $72 for Australians. He's like, damn, that's a steal. And I'm like, and it's an officially licensed replica. The Noble Collection does that. And yeah, it was $59 plus a couple or tax here and there, and shipping, obviously. And it's like, it's the best freaking treat I got for Christmas, you know? And yeah, don't go outside swinging it or anything, because
especially if you're in Canada.
It's hard plastic. It's not metal. It's hard plastic. And if you swing that against something, it will break the tines. It will break it'll break. It's a 3-piece trident for storage and whatnot. And I'm like, I wish they could have made it metal, like actual metal. That would have been really awesome. But beggars can't be choosers, you know?
I'm sure if you save enough, you could probably find someone that does actual metal replicas.
Oh, shit, yeah. I mean, I've seen the MacGuffin trident, Atlan's trident, and it's like $400, $500, $600 on places like Etsy and shit. It's like, I swear to God, if there is one thing missing off of this damn trident, I will ram it through your damn heart if I am paying $600 for it. I will use it against you. Oh, by the way, if you're charging $600, this thing better command the fish in my lake. So, but yeah. But yeah, the whole Star Wars theory thing, I do wish that Lucasfilm would start showing accountability, or start accessing accountability, because these people have been making fun of us for years, and we are getting sick of it. The respect that we got during the Mandalorian, even though they did some lore breaks and whatnot, that is actually something that is another reason why people gravitated toward it. It actually brought the fans together again. This is something that didn't feel like a Disney Star Wars thing. It felt like a Lucas era Star Wars thing. I think it says a lot that Lucas is on the set for this show multiple times versus Last Jedi. I think he was even on set for Rise of Skywalker, but it was not around for Last Jedi. I think that says a lot that the creator's not tipping a hat to the creators behind the scene or at the premiere. He wasn't at the. I don't know if he went to Rise of Skywalker. Let me see. I'm looking this up. He skipped out on all 3 of the premieres.
No. He went to. He went. Well, I don't know if he went to the premiere, but he definitely went to Force Awakens. He's like, it's definitely not the film I would have made, but like fans will like it. It was kind of a backhanded compliment because of, like that's his baby.
Because they took his treatment to throw him in the garbage. But one of the things I noticed about this, or about the Mandalorian, was they actually showed that they cared about fans. They were paying attention from season 1 to season 2. People are like, what is this tracking fob bullshit? Season 2, there's not a damn mention of him ever again.
Yeah, no, the fob thing was confusing because it's like, well, I thought like one person had it, but then it's like everyone's got a fob that can link to this one creature, and it's like, do they have like his DNA already? Which, it wouldn't be crazy. Like they don't really explain how the fobs work at all, so it doesn't make sense. It's just like a convenient story plot that you throw in when you want it. Especially like episode 5 4, where they're like tracking on that desolate planet in the forest that he's at. It's like, what? You got like multiple bounty hunters here? It's like, does everyone have a job for this thing?
And even the Baby Yoda thing, Grogu, I even did a video. It's like, okay, so we finally got his name. Grogu sounds like something that Yoda would put in his bowl in the Jedi Temple. And I even did a video on that. It's like, here's what I would have named him and what he should have been named. Something that more fitting. I would have kept with the Y theme. First off, Yoda, Yaddle, 2 Jedi that were in the temple at the time that Grogu was there. So I would have kept with the Y theme, but I would have used the 2 vowels that were not used in Yoda and Yaddle. Yoda has A and O. Yaddle has A and E. So that leaves I and U. And so I came up with Yuden. And then somebody on my Facebook is like, you can't use Juden. It sounds too much like Juden from the German for Jewish people. It's like, what the fuck does German people have to do with Star Wars? What the heck does any of that have to do with Star Wars? I was born in Germany, for crying out loud, which is true. I was. And it's like, I know how to speak a little bit of German. And yeah, Juden is in fact the word for Jewish people, or how they say the Jews. But you know what? Not everybody that was German is a Nazi.
I definitely want to stay away from that name. It just the connotation people jump to, and it's like, this was icky,
Well, you said it earlier, so and yes, you did. But anyway, yes, not everybody is that kind of association, shall we say? Sorry if I got you demonetized. But
no, I wasn't worried about that. I was just like, I would have stayed away from that. No, not you. I meant like, that name wouldn't have worked. It would just sound too real, too. Like,
well, then I would have used the word, or then I would have used the name Yit, Y-I-T, which was actually a character I actually kind of created when I was doing my own little Star Wars stories that took place thousands of years before the movies. But yeah, that was, thing was, that character that I created was a Yoda species, and he was more like a bounty hunter than a Force user. He smoked death sticks, and he had an eye patch.
That sounds cool.
I literally found that picture, and it's like, you know what? This would be a great character to put in a story. But yeah, that's what Star Wars has always been for me. It's always, if I actually care enough about something, I will write an extension. I will write something to like add into the story to kind of like fulfill the headcanon a little bit. When I saw Boba Fett come back in The Mandalorian, it's like, holy shit. He's coming back, and he's coming back hard. He's actually kicking ass. And yes, there are some people who disagree. It's like he was firing at people that weren't firing at him. It's like, yes, that is true. They couldn't get their guns up quick enough, and he wasn't going to give them a chance to shoot first. Also, think about it. They may be inept. They may be stupid, but there's still a lot of numbers, and all it takes is one lucky shot when it comes to stormtroopers. So, yeah. Yeah,
no, that's one element I really hate that Star Wars creators, especially now in like the Mandalorian, have ran with like stormtroopers can't hit anything. And it's like, that's probably a Lucas there, like from the core, how he portrayed the Empire was like, it's the Empire, and they're just, sterilizing the universe.
This was actually explained by OG Star Wars, who I actually agree with her sentiment, and Stick Kenobi as well. They actually pointed it out perfectly, because if you look in the movie A New Hope, the beginning shootout, on the Tantive 4. They're hitting people. They're killing rebels. They're accurate. Notice how they weren't as accurate on the Death Star. And that is where everybody was getting that whole thing. Like, they can't hit the broadside of a freaking moisture evaporator. It's like, did you ever think that maybe they put a tracking beacon on the Millennium Falcon and wanted them to escape? So they said, don't shoot to kill. Make it look like you're trying to kill them.
Did you ever play the original Battlefront 2?
Yes, I did.
All right, so I don't know about that. I mean, you can kind of make sense, but I don't think that'd be just something like, hey, just make it look like you're trying to, like, that doesn't make sense to me. But in Battlefront 2, there's this kind of, I would say, workaround in the story with what, excuse me, what's already set in motion with, like, the saga. We know events play out. They
first.
Well, yeah, but they portray, like, well, that is actually canon, whatever. But the fact that, like, you have Death Troopers just on a station, not really doing shit, you know, like, these might be your best guys historically, or, you know, it's like they get a better promotion to, like, the secret weapon, you know, outpost.
Yeah.
With elitism comes laziness, potentially. You know, you can be a Spartan, or you can be like, oh, we're out nowhere. We're not facing adversity. We don't have to, like, keep our training up because we're just maintaining a post. That's how I can see, like, the Death Star playing out, how it did, where it's like these guys are out of practice, they're lazy, they've just been, you know, the draw recruits.
That too.
So, like, that can make sense in that context, but then, like, you get, like, Return of the Jedi and stuff where they can't shoot shit, you know, besides the Ewoks because they're expendable. But, you know, it's somewhat convenient, like, plot armor for the main characters, you know, like, oh, one happens to hit, like, her shoulder, and, you know,
one hits R2.
Yeah, that was a poor portrayal. I don't think Lucas probably, along with the creatives that made those movies, I don't think they fully thought out, like, wait, like, we're going to go more than this and people are going to expand the empire. And it's like, you know, you're showing these, like, incompetent marksmen, but then somehow they control the galaxy. It doesn't add up, you know? So, like, for, like, the last couple episodes of Mandalorian where they're trying to shoot the can, it's like, they can't hit it. They're stormtroopers. Like, come on, this is stupid.
Yeah, that was, but that's also Taika Waititi, who was an idiot.
No, see, I like Taika, like, despite, you know, it's kind of trolling fans and whatnot.
I mean, I will say that he is he does have talent in other areas, but when he goes for some humor, it just comes off wrong.
Yeah. Well, have you seen Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah, I reviewed Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, dude, his Hitler, that's like the best comedy ever, you know, for a big production that I can think of. Like, I love The Office. You know, I'm not a big comedy guy, but I love The Office because that humor just hits me right. I got that odd sense, but it's like, yeah, I can appreciate stormtroopers can't hit, but actually putting it in, like, a Star Wars work where it's like, this is lore and stuff, and it's like, well, like, come on, you can't break fourth wall to the audience that way. That's stupid. Especially the context of what the Empire, like, becoming the First Order and all this. It's like, come on, you know. Especially, yeah, same thing with the First Order, where, I mean, they're more lethal portrayed in the saga, but so we got that problem of, like, got to plot armor the main characters. That's, I don't know. That's one of my gripes with Star Wars. It's not a big deal, but it's just, especially when you accentuate that purposely, it's like, fuck you.
I mean, here's another thing. You brought up the original Battlefront 2. And while you say that they might have been out of practice, remember that the 501st got the prestigious, or as Tamara Morrison's 501st character said, it was the greatest honor, but it was also the most boring assignment for a stormtrooper. Endless drills, security stuff. When a prison break actually happened, we were just glad somebody was shooting at us again. That tells you that, sure, they might have not had to really fire their weapons or anything, but it was the 501st who were also clones, who were still clone troopers. and they hadn't lost any of their edge yet at all. So they're still you're still dealing on the Death Star with clone troopers, not just stormtroopers that had Imperial training camps and whatnot. So yeah, it's like there is an idea that, I mean, sure, there could have been some combat fatigue or lack of combat fatigue, I guess, but they also did basically, it's like, we're so glad that somebody's shooting at us. Let's show them what we're made of, you know? They did. But when, or it does make, and because of that, it does make, or that they let him go because, well, one, Carrie Fisher did say it. They let us go. That's the only reason for the ease of our escape. And that tells, or that basically sets up that maybe they're not as inept as what they were portrayed as. Maybe they were not aiming for effect. They were aiming for dramatic effect.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Like the ultimate plan was like, yeah, let them go so we can like track them. But you got scenes where like Solo's like, and Chewbacca are like chasing them down, and they're like, oh crap, you know, but they're like blasting them, you know, when they, that surprising was like, oh fuck, and they're like blam blam blam, and you know they go head first, and then it's like, oh shit, there's more, and it's like, ah no, those guys are trying to kill you.
Yeah, and then there's also people that would actually make the argument, well, if you're getting orders to not really shoot them, but you're also risking the chance that you might be killed yourself, why would you why would you follow such orders? It's like, put it this way, if you didn't follow the order, you were dead anyway. So, yeah, follow the freaking order.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely right arounds to make sense of that, but it's just like, you know, betrayal versus intended logic. It irks me, but it's one of those, like, it's not a big deal to me. You know, it's not Ewoks or Last Jedi to me, but
everybody gripes about the Ewoks. I actually am a person that actually liked them.
I fucking despise Ewoks. Like, people crap on Porgs, and yeah, Porgs are just a cutesy element of an awful movie, but they didn't like interfere with the plot.
Purpose.
Yeah, they're like, haha, let's sell some plushies, you know. And it's like, I can fine,
that's
whatever.
Exactly what they were there for. They were there for product placement or product promotion.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. You know, it's like Kit Fisto, Ayla Secura. You know, that's
where,
you know, that's like
Ewoks was actually an inspiration of the Viet Cong and the Vietnam War. Kind of like you were saying in the first movie, they wanted to show that a primitive fighting style could actually overtake a radically advanced enemy. Look at
Yeah, I was in Afghanistan, and when I went, it was like pretty much the end of the war before we closed out. And you know, when I was over there, we had like big ass giant trucks, fully armored. They even had like boat style holes on the bottom to deflect blasts from IEDs and whatnot. We're still getting guys killed off and on from firefights and whatnot, or just a good enough bomb if you're in like a richer area for the Taliban. Generally speaking, the Taliban's like the poor aspect of you know, terrorism, but you know, it's like we're still fighting these guys with guns and shit. Like, they still can take us on to some degree, you know. So I don't really blame them for their guerrilla or their devious tactics, if you will. It's like, you know, we're invaders as far as they're concerned.
True.
So yeah, it's just like
to us, so
it's just the fact of like, especially knowing they're supposed to be Wookiees, but then like, oh, let's make them cute teddy bears, and I'll sell to the kids, and they have, you know, such a big impact in the story to defeat the Empire's shielding. That's what irks me, is like Porgs. Yeah, they're like purposeful product placement, but they're not like a catalyst. They're not like a cutesy catalyst that actually hinders the enemy in the fight. And that's why I hate Ewoks so much, is like they're cutesy and they affect the plot drastically.
Well, the thing is, if it was strictly the Ewoks versus the Empire would have won. They did have rebel help, And they
No,
also
I agree. Yeah, it's collaborative, but like they still have a impact.
but they were also there to basically be nothing more than a diversion. They were diverting the main forces of the Empire and causing enough of a ruckus to do so away from Leia, Leia and Han to get the charges in.
Yeah, I can make sense of it, but I still hate it. Hate the delivery of what they are. The only thing I like about the Ewoks is when they start getting blasted and they're all dying. They have like this saying, like, "Oh, my Ewok friend, wake up, please!" You know, I'm like, "Yes, fucking die, Ewoks." I'm a dark side guy though, so I love like the bad guys every time.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm a dark side guy too, but I also cried at that moment because I was a kid when I saw it.
I think even as no, see, this goes deep. It's not even my adult self. It's like as a child, I've always been a dark side. Like I have, I didn't have like the complexity of thought. I had the same sentiment. I'm the kid that I watch Alien. I'm rooting for the alien. I watch Jurassic Park. I'm rooting for the Velociraptors.
Well, that's because there's a lot of dumb fucking humans.
Newman gets killed by the Dilophosaurus. I think that's the name of it. Love it. Especially because he's a bad guy. He's the whole reason this shit's going on.
Yeah, it's like, hey, dude, you reap what you sow.
It's funny. My wife got the son a bearded lizard remote control toy, and it does like the Dilophosaurus does this little shake of its neck. It's pretty creepy, but it's cool.
Frill lizard? You're talking about the frill lizard.
Frilled, yeah. Not the bearded, the frilled lizard.
There's bearded dragons, not bearded lizards. But yeah, those frill lizards are fucking freaky, man.
Yeah, well, hey, thanks for coming on, man, and we'll talk in the back room after we're done. But anything you want to say closing out?
Yeah, I got my Versus stream coming. Not tomorrow night, but Friday night at 9 p.m. if anybody's interested in seeing it. And I got other ones or more Versus streams every other 2 weeks. Definitely stay tuned for the 29th of January, which is going to be another Versus stream. It's going to be Kenzie Taylor versus Brie Larson.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
And I'm actually going to have the full Aussie, Lethal, Lyndon, and Rhino on for that one.
Nice. I love Lethal.
Yep, I'm totally looking forward to that. And it's like, guys, before I do this, I have this Versus stream planned. But it only will work if all three of you are there. And it took a while, but I got them all there, and it was awesome. But yeah, I also do, or I'm going to be doing the Rambo discussions. So 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays. It's either a Versus stream or a movie discussion. So those are when I go live, and just look forward to more content. But yeah, that all. It's all coming out on the 1st.
Really quick,
tomorrow off.
You've seen all 5 Rambos, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I've not seen number 3. I just haven't been able to get it at the library, and it's not on streaming. For what I already pay, I'm not paying extra to watch one movie. But I never grew up with that film, even though my mom likes it. She never really raised me with classic films, so I'm kind of like Rookie Critic, but I've closed the gap on a lot of classic films by myself, being a film enthusiast that he hasn't. So Rambo 1, I meant to do a review of this because I was just so flabbergasted. Like, yeah, it's a great action movie, but it's like Die Hard or Indiana Jones or even Star Wars action, where it's done well because it's not like, look how badass this guy is. It's done in like circumstantial, it's situational, and that's how the plot just unfolds naturally. It's amazing, especially given that kind of, beginning of like the ridiculous action era of film. I was aware of Grace Randolph's review of Rambo, despite the fan love of it. And so I dug into the series. It's all 2. I'm like, okay, don't need this, but it tells a story well. Didn't see 3, unfortunately, but then watched number 4, and I'm like, yeah, this wasn't necessary, but it does well for the series and makes sense. And then number 5 like really rounds out the series well, and is a good send off for the character, whether he lives or dies actually at the end after the credits are done. But which one's your favorite?
4.
Okay, and why is that?
Because it was the most visceral, and one that really showed just how, or he was talking to civilians and basically pointing out to civilians, you're not going to change anything with prayer or God in this area. He was a realist. He was a person that was like, are you bringing in any weapons? Of course not. You ain't changing nothing.
Yeah.
No. It's just that it was a movie that I truly enjoyed. I've always loved the Rambo films. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, every single one of these movies is awareness driven. Every one of them was bringing awareness to a real world situation of the time. Rambo 1, how Vietnam vets were treated in the United States. They were not treated kindly. Rambo 2, we still had POWs over there and our own government screwed them over. Rambo 3, Russians in Afghanistan, as Billy Joel eloquently put it in a song. Rambo 4 was Burma, the situation in Burma. And Rambo 5, the situation in Mexico.
Yeah. The only thing I had wrong with Rambo 5 was the opening. It felt like when I turned on Rambo 5, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna finally, watch this and get my, have my opinion about it.
First ask you, because there's 2 versions of Rambo 5. Did you catch the opening where he's in a rescue mission or at his ranch?
I saw the extended one with the rescue in the mountains.
Yeah. Okay then.
Yeah. So I didn't even see the original like theatrical cut or whatever. I saw the extended. Like if there's ever an extended cut, I always watch that preferably before. Now Blade Runner, I've only seen I think the final cut. I know there's like 5 cuts of that movie. So yeah, but with Rambo 5, the opening, I was like, oh my god, like the series is awesome, and he's had a big hand in this whole series, despite being like Expendables, ridiculous action. Like Rambo is like solid storytelling action. And so the opening, I was like, the film style was so amateur and like 90s cliche action stuff. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be awful. And I stuck around, and it was like slow burn, and it built into an awesome finale. It rounded out the character, his history and everything. And so I was very pleased by the end, but that opening, man, that almost made me turn off the movie.
Yeah, because you're not really used to seeing that kind of setting in a Rambo film.
Well, it wasn't even the setting, it was just the delivery. It felt very amateur and just over the top. And I'm like, oh man, like this is what all the Rambo fans are like, this is an amazing movie. I'm like, fuck, I don't know if I'm gonna watch this. Glad I did though.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Awesome. No one's really watching, but well, I'll save it for another stream. But yeah, thank you all for joining who did. Ricky, for your super chats. Appreciate the $22. Of course, Orange Chat for being on. GFan84 and Edwin the Ace and Immoral earlier. Thank you all for joining. Look forward to more content. Check out previous stuff. In the meantime, go sub to Orange Chat. Sorry, I'm a little low. Go sub to Orange Chat Reviews in the description. And see y'all next time.
Stay home.